Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and pull yourself a seat up, grab you something to drink. Today we're going to be talking about religious rights. In the fact that the Supreme Court just heard two cases and ruled in favor of the religious parties involved in the cases. One was of a coach praying at midfield after a football game. And the other one is religious schools in the state of Maine demanding state aid. Yeah, religious schools must get Maine tuition aid. I was double checking, but this sets a bad, bad, bad potential precedent. It shows Gorsuch, Coney Barrett, Thomas, Kavanaugh, and Alito do not care about the Constitution. They are just being purely political. Because a lot of what they are saying is thinly disguised and thinly covered proclamations that the right of religion has been violated. Let me say this first. The First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution sets down that we shall have freedom of and freedom from religion. That means people can express their religion, express their beliefs, but they must not force it on others because they have freedom from those same beliefs. And here's the scary part. Many are just trying to say, oh, the coach was just praying. He has a right to pray after games. Unfortunately, what it turns out to seem is that many of these players felt they were kind of coerced or needed to pray with the coach to get, help getting into colleges on football scholarships and such. You see, I have no qualm if he just wanted to go to center field bow his head, close his eyes, say his prayer. But they say, I'm seeing things saying that it was much more than just that. Because if you openly hold the prayers as a representative of the school, where others feel it would probably be best in their best interest to join along, that's not supported by the Constitution. And it sets a really, really bad precedent. Another case of religious fervor overriding the secularism, I cannot talk, overriding the secularism this country is supposed to have when it comes to its government, is that a case in Maine was ruled in favor of religious schools that wanted tuition aid. Maine said, we are not giving aid to religious schools. They're not, that they're pushing religion, and that is a violation of the separation of church and state. Again, you're more than welcome to hold your own school, but you must find other ways to fund it, because we cannot openly fund you and provide you aid because you're pushing a religious agenda in your school. This is something that's been one of the biggest issues with the Constitution from the start. The founding fathers said, we want people to have the freedom to worship. They shouldn't be afraid to worship, but don't push your religion on others. And there seems to be a lot of religious groups that like the first part, but not necessarily that second part. And again, if you want to bow your head and say a prayer in silence before you eat your meal, if you're at school, that's fine. If you lead a prayer and you kind of hint, this, your grades depend a lot on this, that's something else. You know, the student shouldn't feel as if it would be in their best interest to follow the example of their teacher because they want, you know, good marks and uh, notices from the teachers to potential colleges. If you want to pray, sit silently, head bowed, or just say your prayer to yourself. That's perfectly fine. But when you start doing things that coerce others, especially students, into following your religion, no, that's not a good thing. And again, we're not here as a country to fund religion and institutions that are religious. Those institutions can exist, they're just not eligible for public funds. But this Supreme Court, again, ruling down a political line, this is a wretched Supreme Court. Coney Barrett, Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, Thomas all showed that what they proclaimed in the hearings to grant them entry as Supreme Court justices were all lies. Honestly, they're not trustworthy. Each of them said, it's not my intention to overturn it. You know, it's been the law of the land for 50 years when they were asked about Roe versus Wade. But what did they do when they got the first chance to do so? Overturn it. And Clarence Thomas even made notes, mentioned that there's other cases they would like to overturn now, mainly dealing with the right of homosexual people to have an equal marriage to heterosexual, and the right to buy contraception. For them, it's all political. There is no, we're just trying to be the best as far as judges we can be fair and equitable. No, it isn't. That's not what they want at all. It's just highly disappointing. I'll go ahead and leave it at that. I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, later.